Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Van Orn and this is another Dragonheir Silence God video. Guys, I finally made it. I put my hands on my very first legendary artifact and I've done it through the Pillar of Trial. I've finally been able to get all stage 60 of the 3 affinity pairing and I'm really proud to have my very first legendary artifact. It's been a grind not having legendary artifact that you pull from duplicates. It's very hard, make it very hard to get those high stages. And so I want to share with you my experience, go over the team I've been using, show you the tactic I've been putting in place to be able to grind it down, and maybe something useful will come for you from that sort of content. Now, I'm not going to be able to show you the footage because I play this content on my commute to work on the train on my mobile, and so I don't have the actual video recording, have screenshots of the fight with the teams I've been using. We can get over the gear, we can get over the placement and stuff like that, obviously. But let's jump into it and let me show you basically, well, the artifact, you can click on it and you're gonna know what this does. Basically, gonna enhance the healing from your champion, and it's proven to be quite good, to be honest. I've been testing it so far on the Chaos Boss Shadows, and it has given me a very good improvement where I have healers that don't get hit. Places like Tower and the Zealous, for example, if you need to bring a healer to keep your tank alive, well, that artifact is very good because it increased the enlightenment. A lot of healers scale from enlightenment, not all of them, and increase the healing from their ultimate. So you're gonna see some improvement of it there. I've seen increases from the 2 millions all the way up to the 5 millions, depending on the comp. Keeping that tank alive, especially on the squishiest comps that don't go all the way to the 5 minute, has been really, really good. So, my experience with this, where we start from the Pillar of Dark. In season 1 was the only one I've completed. It was Fire and Poison back in season 1 for me, and it was the only one that I've been able to get up to 60. Not that I've really tried too hard to get the other two, to be honest with you. The problem is that in season 1 you don't have a very complete roster of champion, and so you need to basically gouge your account and push where your account is stronger. I've been lucky enough in season 1 to pull a Gander, and being Poison and Fire season 1 for me, you get Erich for free, and those were making basically a good core with a good control tank and a good DPS, and I've built the rest of my team around those, basically. In season 2, we have Necrosis and Fire, and so things are changed drastically. It has been difficult at certain stages, but not impossible. To be honest, with the comp I've used, it's been pretty easy, if I don't remember wrong, until stage 59, where stage 59 has been quite difficult instead. So we can jump into it and I can show you the comp. Now, this is not the comp, this is the comp I've used for the last stage. On stage 59, I've been using Thea to basically hide my backline from this 3 on the back. The first wave of stage 59 is the hardest. You really need to control Galend and Zarlot. They hit incredibly hard. And the way I've done it basically is by using Quesitia to pull Galend forward and use Rippercast to control the backline. Rippercast was built with a lot of skill haste and the incense burner to be able to cycle through his ultimates very quickly, push back the ultimate energy, turn meter, place decrease attack, block buff, all the good stuff, stunning. He was in a stun set as well, so I could control the back line all the time. Quesitia was taking care of the front, so when pulling champion forwards, she was taking care of the surrounding. When they are all nice grouped together, then obviously Zarlot is gonna do more damage to all of them. But basically, Zarlot was also built in a stun set to try to control even more. Adolphus was built with a lot of skill haste and the crown and the tiara to be able to get those massive shields. And Thea had the sets for the increased attack and the Crown on the Unclean with a lot of skill haste from the runes to be able to cycle back to the veils more often as possible. That is how I went through the stage. In other stages, I've swapped out Megan for Tia to try to push the 2 meter through her passive, where she basically pushed, actually from her battle skills, where she pushed the ultimate energy by 25%. And this helped to cycle basically, especially Rippercross for the control. That it's been my grinding team all the way up to 60. And when I had to fight the bosses, the way I've managed this team has been basically by swapping out that flexible position for Erich and building Erich as a glass cannon DPS and taking down enemy quickly and focus his ultimate on the boss basically to burst him down in the time needed. Pillar is very different from Fae, where Fae we have a much longer fight. You can build your champions with way more defense and survivability and grind the content down over the long period of time of the fight. Here the time is very contained. You only have 5 minutes to go through 3 waves basically, 2 waves plus the boss. And so you need to get through the waves as quick as possible to focus all your attention on the boss. Now that we have Alminster Almor, it can for sure take place in this comp. You can bring it in and substitute into any of my flexible spots over here to place the decrease attack, decrease accuracy, shield your champion. You can group them probably more together to take the best advantage from his battle skills range, which is quite big, not full board, but very big. And you can probably grind this content too. Erich is very important for the boss. I think is still one of the best DPS, burst DPS for this affinity. I know a lot of people don't like him, but when you start building correctly with the Eye of the Giant, if you have only epic artifact like I did, we full cap crit rate, a lot of crit damage, a lot of attack, is going to put out so much damage. When he has increased attack and decreased defense out there, is probably going to be your best bet to defeat the boss. And that was my first one. And after this one, I decided to try to take on the Pillar of Taint, because again, I have a good core of poison champions, tank in particular, and I have a lot of dauntless champions. Here again, the climbing has been fairly easy until I've got to stage 59. Until 58, I've used Perkunte to clear the waves. He's amazing. Just I pair it with Manda. Manda placing the electrocute debuff and Perkunte going nuts and clearing off the entire board. Now on stage 59, I start struggling a bit with this wave in particular. It is difficult to get through these tanks. They hit quite hard. Yola has a lot of control. And so again, I had to resource back to my Urgander, Furbat, and Nathaniel. And then I brought in my DPS range from the Dauntless. And in this way, I've been able to luckily control the backline. I put Urgander in a stun set because he has taunt and a quite big range, so I can control few champions with one hit. I've tried to stun them. I'm trying to provoke them if I can. He has also a good range on his battle skills, so it can stand the front line and help you to keep them controlled as well. Furbat bring the heal to the front line so you can keep them alive. You can place the decrease attack on the back, which is going to be really important to avoid taking too much damage. You need to basically kill them quickly, and once you place decrease defense at them, your 2 DPS are going to burst them down. And this is the same team I've used for stage 60, where you can basically use them to burst down the boss. And it's probably your best bet, to be honest. This is not Pillar Taint, it's Pillar Light, and we spoiled the team. But in Pillar Taint, I've used the same team for stage 60. You just go through with the same team, provoking and controlling the front line and bursting the back DPS down is your best way for sure to get through this content. The last one that I've basically tried to do has been the Pillar of Light. And this one, to be honest, has been quite a pain for me. I know for most of you, it's the easiest one. If you have the Garius, the Garius exclusive, the Gatekeeper stuff, which is not Garius exclusive, it's a legendary artifact that basically give you shield on hoverheal, and you've been able to get Ardred from the Lunar Halo event, you have a good core on the front to keep anybody alive. Now, what you need is an AoE decrease attack. And if you have Tonella, if you have Rose, Rose in particular is absolutely incredible. You can bring your Ice Blast team basically. If you have Shinna, for example, and Bedell, or you have Gertin, in alternative, she's gonna do a lot of work. Now, I didn't have any of this, and so for me, it's been actually the toughest one to go through, and I've been stuck on stage 55 for quite some time, to be honest. It was quite difficult to get to sort it out this stage for some reason, and the way I did it has been basically by bringing Volresh and 1 DPS, which was Uber for me. I had to build Gerting with the healing set and the threat needles as an artifact to keep healing up the team. Garius build with a lot of defense and protection set is the way to go because it's gonna basically keep healing your team. If you have skill haste, just put some skill haste on him. And then I've built Voresh with stun set and the crowning clean to try to control basically the entirety of the enemy. I brought a decrease attack, which for me the best option was Gulal, which is a rare that you get in the campaign in the beginning, and I put him with the increase attack set, the serial set, to try to get increase attack up and hope that Huberg will proc his rally and destroy basically one hitting most of the backline and going forward and repeat and repeat. And that has been the team that basically got me through most of the stages because I had to basically burst them down. I didn't have control. I didn't have an AoE decrease attack. So the only way of doing it was to sustain the hit, build some defense, and being able to grind it down a little bit in the range of time we had. And it's been fairly easy after 55 and to the way to 60. And 60, it's a different thing. Like, this boss, for some reason, it's way more difficult than the other two. You have to burst down one of the two side minion first to be able to do any damage on the boss. And the problem is, the two waves before the boss are an incredible pain. You have healers over healers with damage protection, damage reduction, debuff immunity on the second wave with the two Catherine, Voresh over here placing block buff on your team. If they goes off, they hit incredibly hard, and if you don't control them, there's basically no way to take them down. So the way I did it was basically by again, as I said before, using Ardred Aura 30%. She was built in the healing set with the needle threat, Garius with the protection set, the Scarab Amulet to basically suck all the part of the damage from the rest of the team, heal back the team, and if it was falling low in the health, have the shield to basically keep him alive, which is needed. In this case, I had Gulal with the serial set and the crowning clean, hoping to place the decreased defense on someone, and I was targeting basically on this side so I can hope to place the decreased defense on Voresh, and as soon as that lands, use the ultimate for bleeding to basically triple hit and proc the Ice Crystal on Gertin and jump on the back line and take him off in one burst. At that point, I only have one Voresh, big damage dealer, still able to hit my entire team and raise it from the board because he doesn't have decreased attack because Gulal only hits like a cross 3x3. So I had to time basically run it at one speed and half through the triple hit of Resh, heal back with Garius so that the triple hits on our health back to max. And basically by doing so and repeating, taking down the back line and dueling and jump to the second wave where I have to take down the two Catering on the back, and on the front there is that tank that I don't remember the name now. Gosh, how is it called? Hirion, Hirion. This guy here, Hirion, which has ally protection, damage reduction, attack penalty, and it keep moving around. And so you have to basically burst them down as quick as possible. You need to get to the boss with at least 2 minutes and a half or there around 2 minutes 20, I think it was the time when I got to the boss, because otherwise you're gonna struggle to take down the boss in time. Basically, this composition is also reason for the boss, basically because I can focus the attack of my 2 DPS on one of the minions first, take it down, increasing the amount of damage that he takes, or reducing the amount of damage he reduces, whatever you want to say. But once one of the minion is down, the boss takes more damage basically, and so you can burst them down with your ice blast. And at that point, Hardred has already placed the increased defense, increased resistance, and increased healing on your team, and you don't have a lot of problems going through. Gulal is going to basically place the decreased attack of one of the minion and the boss. So Darius is going to take full blast from one of the two minions because they hit fairly hard, to be honest. And having a decreased attack, AoE decreased attack, will help a lot. So if you have Rose, she makes this way, way easier. If you have Rose and you put her with the Witch's Remain, this wave and this boss will feel much easier for sure, because you can burst the wave down much quicker. You can get to the boss with more time. You can build your champion with maybe a bit more defense if you need to, and you can get through quite easily. Same goes with Garius with the stuff of Gatekeeper stuff. If you can protect your team with a massive shield before the boss hit, it will help a lot. There's been a lot of times where my comps were very low in health, and I've been using the special buff that you have every once in a while on your team to be sure to keep them alive, and then Gertin and Bledin did the job, and I finished it with only a few seconds to spare, and I finally got my first artifact. So that has been my experience. I think, unfortunately, with Epic Artifact, it's very, very difficult to be able to get to all stage 60. It's gonna be easier probably with the season rotation because we're gonna have more legendary champions, so we can work on our roster. It's gonna be easier when we pull to get a dupes with time, so we're gonna be able to start collecting those legendary artifacts. But early on in season 1, I've not been able to get anywhere close. In season 2, with a better roster and a better understanding of the game, I've been able to push this content, but I still think it is a bit too hard for most players. I wish there was a sort of catch-up mechanic in the game, and I've been talking about this in the content creator chat, where, for example, when we defeat the final boss, those buff that we have in some shape or form, even with less impact, will apply to the rest of the game. Like, we defeated a big enemy, so now the universe is a better place, and we can fight a bit easier the rest of the content. It will introduce a good mechanic, I think, for free to play and low spender players to catch up with this content, being able to get their hands on one or two legendary artifacts that will help them through the game. Now, the two artifacts from the Pillar and the Famiander are not OP. They are good, but not crazy OP. This one improves your healing. The other one improves your damage and damage dealing survivability at the same time, especially if they are epics or rare, increasing the attack and the HP. And so it will make easier for those that don't have a fully stacked out, you know, collecting champion roster, to be able to, in the future, to keep up with the game a bit easier. And I think it's a shame that there is not like a diminishing difficulty at some point in the game to help people going through the pillar. I'm not saying it should be easy by any mean. It should be a grinding, difficult content as much as Fae is. But I feel sometimes they are a bit of a gear check, and the fact that for the people I spoke with that have artifact, legendary artifact, they just burst through this content using very similar comp, just bursting through it very easily makes it a little bit unfair in my opinion. But this is everything for today's video, guys. I would like to know, what is your experience with the Pillar of Trials and the Famiander? I'm gonna do a separate video on the Famiander because I'm still grinding the last 7 stages. But for now, I would like to know, what is your opinion? What is your experience? Did you manage to complete the Pillar of Trials or the Famiander using only epic artifact? Do you think it's doable in your experience? And yeah, just leave a comment down below. I will be happy to talk to you about it. And I'm gonna see you soon with another video about Dragonheir Silence God.